Welcome to another episode of Off the Record, where we talk about nothing and we wind up talking about everything. In this episode, I'm really happy. This is going to be a really intense episode, and it's just the brothers. We done kicked everybody out the room. I left my tie in my other office. I left my title with it. I will not be representing Councilman Curtis Jones Jr. I will be representing Hamza Mujahid Ali, Curtis Jones Jr., Turtle, a.k.a. from 54th and Burke Street from back in the day. And I wanted to have this conversation with the brothers because some things have troubled me as an elected official, but as a regular dude. That when I was coming up in the 70s, I happened to have been from a gang, 54 from Burke Street. We weren't the toughest guys on the street, but we handled. But I evolved to join the Nation of Islam and got some discipline about me. During that time, and I can tell you in that resurrection, that guys I used to fight and gang war with, we were on the steps of Overbrook Akbar, and we were selling Muhammad Speaks and bean pies. I had my bean pies in one hand and my Muhammad Speaks in, and a guy that, like previously, if I'd have saw him on the street or he saw me, we'd have been going for it. And we had adopted a brotherhood and therefore a mission that we were now brothers, that he loved me and I loved him. I saw my own reflection in his face. So we're standing there, and it was guys that used to be from his clique or corner that he was trying to sell these papers to. So back in the day, we had this thing where we fold it and put it up under your arm, to kind of make you take possession of it. Well, dude, insultingly, let it drop. When I tell you, before that paper hit the ground, we was on him together against his old, and that was wrong, but it was wrong for a different reason. There was a unity that we had and a standard that we lived by. I raised that to say, when it came to sisters who wore a khimar, you'd rather run through hell with gasoline draws on than approach a sister back then incorrectly. We would chop your head off, as they used to say, if you did that. I didn't have to know that sister. She didn't have to come from my neighborhood, but because of her spiritual side, that we respected and honored and protected them. Further, during those times, there was a street code that before I was in the Nation, if I ran up on an adversary on the corner, right, and he was with his mom or his dad, I would respect that. He would respect it if I was with my parents. They'd give me an evil nod, and it would let me know, we're going to let you slide on this one, but when we see you again, there's a problem. It was out of not respect for me, but out of respect for their elders, my parents. What I'm struggling with is today, they'll run up in your house, irrespective if your mom is there or if a sister's there. They will snatch a khimar off of someone's head in the process of robbing them. And I don't understand how, back in the day, if you abused a child and you were incarcerated, they should put over your cell pain, misery, and suffering for your whole bit. But today, I don't see that sense of morality. And I'm not talking about my government stance. I'm not talking about, poverty. We're going to hear and talk about some of that. But as men, where are we? And dealing with our younger counterparts, and you can't be afraid of something you say you love. So with that and more, we're going to begin this discussion. And I got some real dudes here. I got Ike Raw, who I love like a brother. And we ain't start out like that, but we here now because I understand his passion for the community. I got William Big Life Landrum, who's a legend in every hood, both sides of the coast. Welcome to Off the Record. And then I got a brother that I know personally, Akbar Muhammad, who, when it comes to, if you had a dictionary and you put the word security in, his picture gonna pop up. Every event we've ever did in the street that we've employed Top of the Clock and others to be a part of, we never had any problems. Why? Because people respected that code that he represented from the beginning to right now. With that, welcome to the show, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for
You all
having me,
right?
sir.
My man.
So help me. Ike, you talked about it. We had a big time meeting about gun violence, and you kicked it to it for your namesake Raw about what some of the problems were. Can you enlighten my audience about where are we in our hood?
Well, where we at in the hood, we lost, man. I don't think as far as right now, I don't see any hope for us. I don't see anything changing until we change our mentality. Because this is what's going on in the hood right now. You got people just shooting people, people killing people just for the rap. And you got people rapping about it in rap songs now, and their moms or their cousins, man, they're rappers. What's going on? Can't remember these dudes are not rappers. What they're doing is they're just shooting at somebody or they're getting shot. They go on YouTube, making a video, posting it, and they say they're rapping, which is not. They're not. Only thing they're doing is exposing the crime that they did. So that's what's really going on in the streets right now. But we got to change this as a people.
So, Akbar, how has it changed from your time and beginnings as a soldier? How do you see it now?
Well, I always
Speaking of Mike.
use the premise when you go to school to learn the English language. The premise of the English language is, in order to speak grammatically clear, you have to have subject and verb agreement. So this is 2021. I wouldn't talk to no young man like it was 1971, because if I was to do that, then what I would be saying to him is not congruent to his condition. And so I can't make a connection to him. And then, not like a lot of my counterparts, a lot of guys my age, they act like they was never their age.
They forget.
Either that or they just don't give a damn about the young people. Let's keep it real. And in being like that, you don't have a bed of people that you can draw from to say, come on, man, like Ike Raw, I heard him Sunday morning on the radio. I respect him. I respect his energy. I respect his vigor. I respect his tenacity trying to get across truth to people who might not accept it. But we need more Ike Raws. We need more people that was young people age but act like they wasn't their age. We need them to come on up out of their houses, man, because if we don't do that,
Come out your house.
come out of your house in order to speak. And don't think that you're going to just talk down on somebody. You can never connect to a man if you don't talk to his heart. Talking to a man's heart is talking to his emotions. That's how you make the connection. So when people see me at my, they say, Dad, how you get to relate to all them young guys? Because first of all, I knew I was young like them. And we might get in a conversation. I might have done stuff that they might even not even be phantom to do. But it's something that came in my life that changed me, and it's called the word.
Big life.
Yo,
Talk to me.
Hey, bro.
What are you seeing? What are you feeling? And what, more importantly, what can we do to reverse some of this?
well, what I see, because, I do music, man. I was into music with my kids and, my daughter Cola, I did a deal with Snoop. She was a doggy angel. And then I did an album called Escape from Death Row. And I did an album called Fluidly I Approach. Okay, so Big C Style from Long Beach, used to be best friends with Snoop. We got involved because all the kids were trying to do music. And so I built a studio out there in Long Beach for my kids, about 60 grand, you know. But to make a long story short, I start connecting with the kids. And I put that album together, Escape from Death Row, with all the kids in my hood, regular artists, regular producers. And we actually did a deal with Universal and Private Eye. These are just kids that with talent out of the hood. My son, he had he had a lot of kids around him, and they mostly boys, and they had no father. So I became the father figure in the hood.
Hmm.
I read an article one time, and I know what the problem is with our youth. They need guidance, and what's going on is I read an article. It was about these scientists where they had this place where they had a lot of animals, different type of animals, and it was a park where they wanted to save lives for animals that were going extinct, and they had rhinos there, elephants, rhinos dying, right? And they was wondering, hey, what is killing these rhinos? And the scientists was like bewildered because they never had anything to kill rhinos like that. And so they set out cameras, and what they found was a lot of the teenage elephants were running around the male bulls, and they were actually killing the rhino. They get on top of them and they go down on them with their weight and crush them. And they never seen anything like that. So what they had to do, they went to another forest. They went to another park, and they got the bulls, the daddies, and they brought them to the park. They got control over those teenage elephants that was going around doing that and killing stock. You get my point?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Yeah.
do. So
So
go ahead.
go ahead.
So to
So
your
what I'm saying is, see, in California, we had that same problem with those teenagers running up on our women, and it still happens here and there. But you have to find the real ones to take control of that. It's within. You have to go within with that. See, out here, if they do that, their own boys will go after them. It's a wrap because we're not standing for that. Your own gangs of Bloods and Crips don't go for that. Running up on sisters, running up on brothers. That war has nothing to do with them. So it's an inside thing, man. But us older G's, like my man said, we have to come out of our houses, and get
so
involved.
I have a housing development. It's not in my district, but it's run by a good friend of mine. And she and her husband wound up inheriting 120 units worth of apartments, 120 families that live in this complex. She had the conversation and said, out of the 120 units, she had one unit that had a father. All single head of household women. That there were guys that visited Friday night, Saturday
Yeah,
night, in and out kind of thing, but none of them resided, took responsibility for to be the head of that household. And when I look at that, I can juxtapose that on entire blocks that I can walk in my district where the same is true. And in the absence of that, what I've found to be true is that there is a time for the nurturing of a child by their mother. And it's important, but there comes a time in young men's life when that transition to manhood should be led by the example of a man.
that's right.
And a lot of times when you then, and I get to do this you don't know a lot about me, but I'm a councilman. I'm the chair of public safety. So I deal with a lot of courts and prison. And what they found to be true is a lot of these young Thundercats that got incarcerated hated male role model, hated male figures because the absence of a dad. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? And I began to see the correlation. So your analogy about getting the bulls back in the herd is apropos to me.
No, I totally
Sure.
agree. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
We need that, man.
That's
You
what
know,
That's the
that's
we
what
gotta
thing.
have it. You know,
that's what Ike
that
Raw
leadership.
saying. See, I hear that. See, let me tell you something, Kurt. See how you got somebody like Ike Raw? I got to go back to that. And you got people that know what he's saying is the truth. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But they won't add on
Mm-hmm.
to what he's saying to make this thing happen. So we really outnumbered. Like Big Life said, see, it ain't no bulls out here running in these streets that got a genuine concern for young people. Because one thing you can't do with these young people now, you can't BS them. They can feel that right from the rip by the way they raised up in these streets. So, but it ain't enough. I'm telling you, we outnumbered. We are outnumbered when we talk about being real men. See, there's no way in the world that I could ever thought that in 2020 that I would live in a city where a woman was fully garbed and get murdered and don't nobody do nothing about it. Or a woman get acid thrown in her face. These are the same women that what you was talking about earlier, and don't nobody do nothing about it. Then if you do something about it, and you outnumbered, then you don't know if they're gonna tell on you or not, man. I come up in a group, people, come on, everything, we ain't do no telling. So you can't even trust people that even say they about that because longevity ain't in them. See, I'm telling you, we outnumbered.
And it's crazy. Some of the things you can consider my tenure as a councilman successful. It is to whatever degree it is successful, it's from a law. But some of the mentoring here on earth was done by some of the toughest dudes that had a different type of courage I know. So when I go into a city council hearing and somebody says, so-and-so trying to get you, it's almost comical. Like I've been in bathrooms in schools where I didn't think I was going to get out. And so when you say you're going to step to me with a harsh memo, I don't care. So the training that you get from those bulls is important too. Like how my father, God be pleased with his soul, taught me how to defend myself, but with limits, not to kill somebody. Like I fought
That's
my
Yeah.
brother, like I used to rumble my brother in the house. There was legendary fights, but I would never
right.
look to kill him.
See, them days is
See, I'm
over.
gonna tell
Like,
you, bro.
we could fight. Remember this back in the day? I'm gonna take y'all back. Remember you argue with somebody and you be like, knock this off my shoulder. If you really want to fight, knock this. We don't even do that no more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everybody want to fight. Everybody want to shoot somebody. So now you can't even argue with somebody. You don't know who got a gun. I mean, they saying, when the PUA money was given out, a lot of young girls saying, well, I brought a gun with my PUA money. Like, what are we really doing out here? Just like, I say the same thing. I grew up in Philadelphia. I've been in Philadelphia all my life. When I was in the streets doing what I was doing, I was doing negative stuff. I knew. I'm not busting my gun on no lady. I'm not shooting my own children around. There's certain stuff you don't do. But the reason I didn't do those things is because I had older guys in the streets. They weren't doing it. So I'm looking at them like, such and such ain't doing it. I can't do it because I ask. If I'm out there destroying the community, doing something they ain't doing, I'm shooting at a child, I'm shooting a woman, I'm smacking some girls, something, and they ain't doing that, they can respect me. Now we don't have enough of the older dudes checking the young boys, and that's because they're scared because the first thing they say, well, young boy got a gun in the street, right? So they scared. And just like Akbar said, it ain't about how you talk. I think Akbar said a big life, right? Said it. You can't just come to the young boys like, yo, get off the corner. Right? And that's one thing I saw all the time. They say, you can tell the young boys that they're talking to the kids. I say, I don't go to the young boy saying, get off the corner, put your gun up. You want to know why? Because he got that gun on him for a reason.
Right. We don't do that.
So we can't be afraid of things we say we love. And as you said, you know, they know when you're not genuine. And what you're doing, Big Life, is you're providing them a tool, a way out through the art, through music.
For
So
sure, for sure. And And I want to tell you, man, the reason why a lot of fathers are not involved with their kids is by design, man. The federal government, they did this by design with welfare. I mean, I guess you noticed, like, I don't know, in California, they will give your kids and your wife a place to stay, but you're not allowed to be there.
Same thing here.
You can't stay
Same
there. That's it.
same thing here.
That's in design.
I want to debate that. I
That's to
want
break
to.
up family.
Hey, can I say
You
something
see,
to that?
that's to make the father. That's to separate the father. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. When the father's in the home, when the father's in the home, young women, when the mother and the father's in the home, the young sisters, their period don't come until late, till like 16, 17 years old. With the dad not in the home, that's why you have a lot of these young ladies having their early periods, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's all out of sync, bro.
I learned that.
It's
Wow.
all out of sync. It's got to be brought back into control.
So if I had a silver
You see?
bullet as an elected official and it was one thing, just one thing, other than your spirituality, it would be fathers spending time with their kids. And this one boy tells me, I can't afford to be a father. I ain't got a job. Well, no, you can afford the time to be a father because you can walk your child to school in the morning, help him or her with homework at night, and give them the wisdom of what to do and also what not to do because everything is a lesson. And even if you have to take into account, well, son, don't make the mistakes I made. Do it a little differently. If I had it to do all over again, that is priceless. And if I had a silver bullet, it would be that fathers spent more time with their children.
Yeah, I know one thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I can
You
agree
have to
with
teach
both
them
the
how to be
brothers.
fathers first.
Right. 'Cause I can agree with both of the brothers. Like, I ran the security for Walter Palmer at his charter school.
Yep. North
And
Philly.
that's when I really seen the situation with children and no father when you work in them schools. And again, going back to not telling nobody what to do, but we started what we call, it ain't nothing but manhood training. But you gotta love the children more than they hate themselves. So you gotta overwhelm them with love. Like Ike Rose said, I don't go in no corner, tell nobody put no hammer up. I'll hug you and kiss you, and I know you got the hammer on you. And I'm gonna ask you how you feel. It's a little rough out here in the soldier. They go $5. Go and get a sandwich, man. Put that thing up. You know you get 7 years for that. Ain't that walk away?
Mm-hmm.
Not what you doing out here. I'm not
Judging them.
I'm not the police. Judgment is rendering of a decision that's based on actual fact. I don't have the actual fact on him, just like I didn't have it on Meek Mill. Meek Mill, you said act wild, but now look at him now. He used to be with me. I ain't talk down on him. You follow what I'm saying? Because then nobody talk down on us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing. But like Ike said, see, we outnumbered, man. I'm telling you, a lot of these guys out here pump faking, Brother Curtis, I'm telling you, that say that they want to help the children. They don't want to help them. They want to get a photo op and a little check.
Ooh,
They ain't fooling me. I'm on hustling out of New York City. You ain't gonna fool me about that. If you don't do this, see, Ike Rowe, he ain't getting paid for what he doing. That's why he gonna be successful. See, but we got too many people in our way.
You can't say something slick to a can of oil.
That's what I'm saying.
right.
So I already know that. So when I see brothers that was in Grateford and I go up to the program down there in Phoenix, they come up to me. I don't know if I'm a can of pay. Man, I appreciate you, brother. My son told me, boy, when you had him in song too, man, you showed him how to throw a jab, and you told him respect me, and then we get to Dewan and Nomo. So it all comes out into fruition. That's why I met all them at. They was in the behind the wall. So I know about Big Life, and that's just my first time seeing, because I know Big U is a personal friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Shaheed, and he doing good. Big Life doing
I
good
know
work.
Big U. I know
Yeah,
Big
see,
U. Yeah.
we all, but see, Water Seeker's on level. So you got real dudes on here. But if somebody was on here pump faking, I'd tell him he was, because it hurt me. But I know you ain't treating the young people right, and we losing them. Yeah. That little girl, 9 years old, that little Muslim sister. If that don't bother you, I don't know what do.
You ain't got a pulse.
And you can't tell somebody put their gun up. What, he gonna lock it up and he run in the house and nigga chase? He got to go to get it. We come from that. Come on, man. Too many guys out here. They I'm telling you, brother, they BSing, man. That's why you don't see no effect.
You know, too, we fighting two wars too. It's a spiritual war too going on here too.
Mm-hmm.
It's
so
a
one of the
spiritual
things,
war, bro.
one of the things we're
The
going to
devil's
be
real busy right now.
He real busy.
One of the things we're going to be dealing with in city council with the budget is we got more money for violence intervention, but I've got to segregate out what works with what don't.
You ain't got no other choice. But Brother
I
Humble,
can't afford
I
to-
don't want to cut you.
Yeah,
Brother
go ahead.
Humble, before all this stuff came to it, there was a lady in the Northeast. The city gave her $1 million. Ain't no crime up there when she was in the greater Northeast. Ain't no crime up there. Come on, man, it was all game. Cause
Right.
like my brother just said, it's a spiritual dimension to this. So we can do whatever we want on our time, but what is we doing in God's time?
We'll be held accountable.
You're gonna be held accountable. So you
That's
don't
the
do
problem.
nothing to be seeking gain when you're trying to save somebody's life. Because if you save somebody's life, that's the greatest payoff you can get. You can't put no money on that.
Teach, brother.
Come on now. So come on, cut
Right.
Ike Raw a
But like I
check,
tell
man.
you,
Seeing that,
Come on,
like I
cut
tell
Ike
you,
Raw a
Ike,
check.
Ike,
Come on, Ike,
everybody,
get your check over here. I'm
everybody
trying to
in
get
the
your
world,
check, Ike.
Ike, you know, and listen, from my heart, you got me. You got one vote out of 17
Yeah.
for
Right.
sure.
They know the
Hey,
man.
listen.
And I'm gonna tell you, I can get you more.
Listen, I already knocked. Listen, I got a couple guys on council, a couple women on council that I bang with. I know that. It ain't nothing personal. You know what I'm saying? Y'all work for the city. So if y'all do something that's not right, I got to speak on it.
I
I mean,
know.
that's what the people know about Ike Raw. You feel me? I just want to touch on what Akbar said real quick. Because it is a lot of fraudulent stuff going on in the city, man. I'm just touching on it earlier. They sent me a flyer the other day, right? I'm to a press conference for the state of emergency. I'm like, what is a press conference for announce the state of emergency? Like, what's going on? What's that about,
Already
right?
did it.
Right. I keep saying all the time. Hey, I want to be on the news. I want to be in the newspaper, right? And I actually listened to someone on my life said, when these moms come around with their pictures, they got the pictures out of their loved ones, right? And then right after these meetings and all that, they're taking pictures with people. They're taking pictures with the politicians. They're taking pictures with people who they've been following on social media, right? How can you turn your emotions off that quick and say, oh man, my daughter was got murdered, help me out. Then you smile in the picture, like, hey, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So it turns into a joke, man. So that's why I don't like coming up with all these things a lot of times, man, because like Akbar said, there's a lot of people out here pump fake.
Well, one of the things that real no real, and you can't pump fake them kids on that corner. We went up with this GVI program and we walked up to some real houses. I'm gonna tell you this, and it was crazy because the first reaction was, all right, I'm getting ready to go to jail. I got the DA out here, the police, I got the defenders, somebody get ready to put me in jail. And then after a while, they start looking and say, well, y'all not putting me in jail.
Right.
Well, what do you want? And their mind opened up. You're offering me a job to stop this or that. Everybody wasn't for it, but some were. Some were looking for a way out. But once they realized that you ain't here to hurt me, and then you might be here to help me, then people opened up. But the problem with that is that if we make 10 people do that a month, we outnumbered, like you said.
Yeah.
We're at 45% above last year in the shootings. And I'm going to say this on this podcast, we only have a 8% closure rate in Philadelphia. That means
Wow.
for every 100 shooters, only 8 of them getting caught. If I was making donuts and 92% of the time my donuts didn't rise and they failed and they taste horrible, I'd be out of business. Why do we let a criminal justice system continue where you got a 92% failure rate? Only 8% of the jokers is going to ever go to trial and be convicted.
yeah,
We need to do something different.
Yeah, I agree, man.
yeah, man. I tell you, man, it's like for one, you know, I can go back when I was young. I remember when I was growing up in my neighborhood, it was all black. Everybody had a boat, a motor home. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it was like, and then it just overnight, it was like everybody was poor. And I know how it happened. The worst president that I ever know was Ronald Reagan. because he came in the 80s, man, and busted all the unions. And all the unions, they mostly helped minority people a lot, you know,
That was our
that were
pathway
able to live
out.
was our pathway out, man. And I can see this administration going back to that. And I'm gonna tell you why. If they go back to the infrastructure, bro, it's gonna pull a lot of people out of problem. A whole lot of people. They've been holding back on this infrastructure for so long and letting this country go to waste. They have to fix it. And when they do, it's gonna open up so many jobs, union jobs. I can see it happening. I saw it happen before, you know. And when the unions come back, a lot of these brothers, these youngsters are doing this because they don't have a way out. They can't see a way out, man. They don't have anything to live for. Well, they might as well kill you because they don't have a life, you know. And if you're doing well, you're walking around here with $100 a pair of tennis shoes on, or a leather coat, or a jacket, or something. They're gonna kill you for it because they don't care anymore. You know, they don't
We
have any hope.
we are the first
You know,
generation that our children aren't doing as well as we and our parents did.
exactly.
We have to change that paradigm. We have to give them a
Yeah,
reason to go to school, be educated, and be productive in a way that gives them hope. The most dangerous thing I ever saw was a young at-risk quote youth tell me that I'm not living past 25.
yeah.
Yeah, you see his friends.
The most dangerous person is a person with no hope, no future. You see, they don't care anymore. You know, they don't care about you. They don't care about your life. Yeah, they want to inflict pain. You doing okay? Your son got an iPhone. I'm gonna kill his son. You know what I'm saying? Make him miserable.
So
He too happy.
I'm gonna ask each one of you in turn, if you had a silver bullet, one, not six gun, not a 9 millimeter, one bullet that you could shoot at the problem, which target would you pick to eliminate to get us back on the right track? One bullet. I'm gonna start with you, Big Life. You go first. Coming back to you.
If I had one bullet, man, I'd fire it off, and I would hope it would pull all of these fathers back under the roof, and not, if not up under the roof, up in their sons, their kids' lives, man. That's the key. The guidance, man, coming out of the home. You know, you have to guide them coming out of the home, man. If you don't guide them coming out of the home, and like the bro say, man, we outnumbered, yeah, but we can go back in there. There's people you can reach in there. I've done it. You know, some hardcore guys. You know, they just break down and start crying because you can reach these guys, man. I have a son, man. He's 26. He's in jail for attempted murder right now. You know, try to raise him right, try to teach him the right thing. You know, I was in a gang. He couldn't help himself when I was young, and he just, you know, going off of my life I had, and he wanted to bang so hard. You know what I'm saying? He went to a Southside Crips out of Compton, and see what I was trying to tell him. You know, he was out there banging, and he ran up on another banger, and they got into it, and he pulled his gun, and he went to shoot the guy. The guy grabbed the gun. The gun jammed. Now check this out. The gun jammed. They're wrestling over it. My son snatched the gun from him, hit him in the face, and runs off. So now that's another gangbanger, right? So my son figured, oh, I'm just gonna keep my gun, you know, and I'm gonna walk on home. Well, he didn't know that the gangbanger called the police on him. You see what I'm saying? He didn't even get around the corner good for that boy called the police on him. He didn't want him coming back to try to kill him no more. So now he got, it took me $20,000. He can give my son 30 years for attempted murder with a gun that didn't even fire. Okay? And they was trying to give him $20,000, and he still winded over 10 years. So, you know,
Ike
that's
Raw,
the system.
shoot your silver bullet, baby.
I'm shooting poverty. I'm shooting poverty. I'm flooding the hood with money. Everybody get bread. Everybody got a way to live. Like I'm saying, because that's the key issue that we're dealing with, especially on top of this whole COVID situation, man. You got a lot of dudes who depending on the chicks. The chicks is working. Now the chicks ain't working, so they ain't got no money. So now they gotta go out here and do anything. You got a lot of chicks who depend on their dudes. Their dudes ain't working. So now this woman got to go out here and possibly sell her body or do something crazy to try to provide for her family. Like, you understand? So poverty is the key issue with our people. Like, you know that. People, we trying to sell some drugs to get some money, to buy some clothes, or just to be stylish or whatever. But the thing that's killing our community is poverty, man. The poverty. Because we like crabs in the barrel mentality, because when we see the next person getting something, we want to get that as well. There's not a lot of opportunity for us. Ain't nobody just walking around with 30,000 jobs to get the black community to employ everybody. But we got to be smarter about the whole situation, man. We got to protect each other. We got to look out for each other. But until we start doing that, ain't nothing going to change, man. But I would take my bullet and shoot it at poverty, man. Everybody got some type of situation.
Ike, I love it. All right, Akbar, where's your bullet going?
Education, because I keep seeing these reports every 4 years. If you got 8 out of 10 children in the 10th grade can't read, that means they can't comprehend. So when they react, they're going to react with emotions. They're not going to react with intelligence, because I can't even discuss a situation with you verbally. So you're going to be quick to express yourself. And then but the school system, we keep letting it happen. Every 4 years, they say the same thing. So that means the ones that was in the 10th grade 4 years ago, they 20 years old. They walk around the street, they still can't read. And you wonder why they quick to anger. Because you can't read, man. Ikra. Come on now.
So with my silver bullet,
you got to be able to read a book.
They say the best way to keep a secret from our people is hide it in a book.
Hide it in a book, man.
So with my silver bullet, I want to hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Because I'm a trick shot. Bang, bang. I want a generation of young men to say, no matter what, I'm not going to step foot in no prison. And make a pledge for a generation, I'm not going to take another man's life. If I could do those 2 things with that one, a lot of this will take care of itself. So I'm just going to say, man, I love y'all. We need to do this more often. And we need to do this with some young boys.
Right.
To kind of let them know that the reason I dressed down today is because people see me as a postage stamp or a poster on a wall. That's not who I am. I was voted most likely to be incarcerated at this point in my life. But I got lucky at the House of Umoja and turned a different way.
People looked out for you.
Yeah, people looked out for me.
That's all.
And what I hope to do, and I like what you do in Big Life, is providing pathways from music, that creativity we have, to make money at. Make money. And so
you'd be surprised, man, these kids.
Go ahead.
Well, I want to tell you, man, there's a lot of kids in Long Beach right now, these young artists, and a lot of people don't realize, man, these kids is making thousands of dollars with this music. They learning how to do it online now, and they bringing that money back to the hood out here, and they buying the Dracos, they're killing over videos. They're killing over these girls on with the OnlyFans type thing out here now. That's the new thing. I can make more money when you selling my music now. I mean, it's really tapped into it on the West Coast. I don't know how the East Coast doing it, but these kids are running around here, man, with half $500,000, and you don't even know where it's coming from. They getting it off of this music. Crazy. But it's got to be channeled too.
Well,
same thing.
One of the things we got to do is control our own wealth. We just had. They need to make investments. I had this boy, and I'm gonna be real quick with the story. So he got mad at me because somebody, foreigner, bought the corner store where he was right in front of where he was hustling. He was giving me the business. Why you let this other man come in here and take this money out of the community? So eventually, once I got to know him, I asked him a question. So how long you been on this corner putting in this work? He laughed. He said, "This is like my 7th year." I said, "Are you making money?" He started laughing at me again, pointed at his pimped out ride, pointed at his bling on his arm. And I said, well, that looks considerable. Did you ever think to get out of the game and buy that store, to invest and do that and find your pathway out of that high risk, low reward business?
Yeah.
And so I don't have a problem with a ex dealer. Now, if you're not doing it no more, good. I can't mess with a current dealer. But if you find your way out, you can give back and hopefully make amends for your sins.
Right.
That's true.
I believe that.
So listen, fellas, when are we gonna do this again? So I got.
Hey, I'm down, man. I'm down with you brothers. Hey,
So Akbar got a sandwich you don't even want, because if you'd have came here, I'd have fed you. So I'm gonna send Uber Eats. It's on you'll hear a knock at the door. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was about to say, okay, don't tell me to send me something because I'm looking for you. I call you too, then I got to come down there and find you. Yeah.
All right, man, listen.
Hey, Big Life.
I'm coming in next time, though. Whenever y'all ready, I'll come in next time.
I'm going to have you here.
Hey, Big Life.
For sure.
I'm glad you was
What's
on
up?
here, man. I'm going to tell Big Will you was on the podcast with me. That's my Compton homie. I'm going to call him tonight.
All right, hey, tell him Big C Style said what's up to me. I ain't seen you in a while, man.
I got you.
We got to do more of this. We got to let our young people know that as you were, we once were. And as we are, you can be. All this and more on Off the Record. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.